Before we can start color blocking our sea turtle, we first need to outline our turtle. And so we're going to be switching over to a new brush we haven't used yet. It's our round brush. So you see this comes to a nice little point. It's excellent for getting some details in here. So we're going to get a little bit of water on the end of our round brush, dip it in some of our white, and we're going to gently and methodically find our turtle again and redefine him. So I like to start with the head first. Go ahead, redefine the top of the head. And then remember what I said, how they have that nice little beak. They're a Hawksbill sea turtle for a reason, and that's because they have this awesome hook and hawk's beak. So we're just adding that in right there. And then, of course, on the bottom, you're going to have to connect it down to the lower jaw, just like so. And then this connects to the neck, to the body, around there. And then obviously we need to define our turtle shell again. So you kind of still see a lot more of our lower pieces down here, but that's okay. All you gotta know is that you start the shell just back here on the back of the head and work your way down. And don't forget to redefine the little underbelly right here. As well as down here, going to redefine the belly. Excellent. Don't forget that little back leg. Outline that guy. And then remember how we had a nice little flipper back this way. It ends right at the shell where the head and the shell meet. It's going to be where the back side of that flipper is. And then of course we need to define our big flipper over here. So it juts out and connects all the way down. It goes over the coral reef down below. And don't forget to add in those little nodules, those little hills, which are the plates. You know, and then just connect them all back, just like so. And you have got it all figured out just with that. Now that we have our sea turtle defined, we're gonna go in immediately and start color blocking him in using our small flat brush, this guy again. So the colors for our sea turtle are pretty straightforward. We're gonna start with our lightest first for the belly and like the neck area. And that's going to be a mixture of our nickel alzo, or this like really pretty rusty orange color right here. And we're gonna grab a little bit of white in that as well. And we're going to first define where our shell is with this. So our shell's right there, would be up here. And then we're going to fill in the lower portion down here. Excellent. So go ahead and fill in the head with your yellowy, orange, white mix. We'll go in and do some really nice details in just a little bit. But for right now, this is all you need to have filled in, is just those areas. And now we're going to do color blocking in our darker regions, and that's going to be done in maroon and some purples. So maroon, again, is just like a dark burgundy color with a little bit of a purple hue in there. And so we're going to use this to fill in all of our main points for both the shell and for our flipper of our lovely little Hawksbill sea turtle. We'll also be using some dark purple in here as well, but first we're going to start simple with just this one shade of color. Again, that maroon, burgundy color, whichever you have on hand. Because we're going to start with our darks and we work to our lights when it comes to doing our shell especially and the plates in the flippers. And that's just because you're going to get a lot of really great contrast whenever you do that, guys. Whenever you start with your darks and you build up to your highlights, because acrylic is so forgiving and you can build on top of it no matter how dark the color is beneath. It's really a great tactic for developing more realistic and contrasting paintings. And be sure to fill in that back flipper as well. And if you feel more comfortable using that little small round brush earlier to do some of these more tiny regions, please feel free to do that, guys. This is not a class where you're going to be graded on anything. I just want you to feel comfortable using these tools to develop your own artwork. Perfect. All right, now that the burgundy maroon color is in, now we're going to go in with our Diox purple, or just a really dark purple color that you have on hand, and now we're going to mix that in while everything is still wet, a bit more for some more depth and contrast, and especially along the lower portion of the shell and the lower portions of our flippers. Now, a really cool effect, right now I'm doing it right now, is where we're putting the color in and then we're pulling and pushing it in a way that gives it form and texture. Like it almost feels like it's curved. So we're doing these little half curve, little half moon shapes, just like that. And that not only gives it the effect of texture, but also gives the illusion of form by creating that feeling of rotundness right here on the edge. Excellent work, guys. So now we gotta let this rest, let it dry completely, and then we are gonna hop back in and start doing details on our turtle. And then in a few more lessons, we'll get all of our coral in and finalize and touch up our background.